Showing breaking news on DC News Now. 2 teens shot in the district just as DC's district attorney addresses recent violence in the community.
Make sure that we get the guns off the street and that we make young people accountable for the violent crime that's being committed.
What she's sharing with families in Ward 5.
A judge blocks the Trump administration from firing thousands of federal workers during the shutdown. Plus, the new lawsuit challenging the USDA's decision to end SNAP funding on November 1st.
We have more clouds on the way, and then our next threat for rain, tracking it all, coming up.
Stuck in Jamaica in the middle of a monster hurricane.
And also we're at like the end, so we might get like the aftershock coming in, so we won't have to wait to see what happened.
How a local woman is staying safe with others at a resort.
The 38th annual high heel race in D.C. We're at the starting line as runners sprint down 17th Street. We begin with breaking news on DC News Now at 9. 2 teenage boys rushed to the hospital following a shooting in the district. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. The violence ripping through Northeast, just blocks from a playground. Take a look at this video showing the scene right near the Marvin Gaye Park. Investigators saying they rushed the sound of gunfire around 4 this afternoon right near 62nd Street. Police found the 2 boys shot in an alley. 1 teen seriously hurt. Investigators have 1 person in custody for a gun charge, but they are not being named as a suspect as of now. This is a breaking news story, and we'll continue to monitor the situation and pass along any updates on air and online at dcnewsnow.com. The shooting happened just as the U.S. Attorney for D.C. was meeting with neighbors in Northeast for an update on crime in the community.
Judge Janine Pirro answering questions and taking notes about problems plaguing that area. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live at the 5th District Police Station.
And Daniel, you heard from a lot of frustrated families. What were they saying?
Well, Susan and Chris, they were talking about everything from, violent crime, of course, as we talked about off the top of the show, as well as drugs and prostitution in their neighborhoods. A very wide range of issues, as well as, of course, the federal surge of officers in D.C. Something most of the room tonight was favorable for, and also favorable toward Pirro, frankly, it seemed. Now, Pirro touted the federal surge in D.C., saying whether you like it or not, that crime is down in the district. In the 5th District here, the watch commander said it was already down 8%, but with the surge, it's down 15%. For her part, as a prosecutor, there still aren't enough judges to hear the cases Pirro brings, and she said there are 15 openings at D.C. Superior Court and that President Trump is going to make sure those positions get filled. She also repeated her calls that she wants to be allowed to prosecute teens as young as 14 years old. Tonight's meeting was organized by former ANC Commissioner Kathy Henderson.
We need to have a frank discussion to help her help us. We need help. We've had a violent weekend in the city. Violence is unrelenting, despite how hard our team is working, and we need all hands on deck.
We're doing everything we can to make this district safe for the people who live here. One of the most important things that we can do right now is to make sure that we get the guns off the street and that we make young people accountable for the violent crime that's being committed. That is my #1 priority.
And that last soundbite you heard there from Judge Pirro was in direct response to us asking her about the shooting that happened tonight. So clearly there are still issues that are going on, and a lot of neighbors here who spoke tonight were pent up with their frustration over years of things, in their words, not being done. We're live in Northeast. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you so much for that update. Now to a 17-year-old in Maryland accused of making fake bomb threats to a doctor's office. Montgomery County police say the teen called the Rockville Internal Medicine Group twice, threatening there was an explosive in the building. The office had to be evacuated as a precaution so crews can make sure the area was safe. The 17-year-old is now facing multiple charges.
A live look now at Jamaica, where Hurricane Melissa made landfall earlier today as a powerful Category 5 storm. That storm flooding some areas, trapping people inside their homes. Melissa causing extensive wind damage, you can see here, and turning some roads Well, into rivers, the wind tied records for the strongest Atlantic storm at the moment and made landfall. The storm now anticipated to make landfall in Cuba, where evacuation preparations are already well underway.
Wow, just pelting rain with those winds as well. Chief Meteorologist Jackie Lair, this was a massive storm.
Yeah, and it just strengthened so much over those very warm waters there. We're talking those water temperatures at least 85 and close to 88 degrees at one point. Yeah, now it's over still. Some of that water between Jamaica as well as Cuba, and it's likely going to strengthen back to a Category 4 hurricane as it then approaches Cuba. So right now is a Category 3 hurricane after it went over that western side of Jamaica through the course of the day today. So at least Jamaica, the higher terrain there did weaken it a bit, but now it's getting that more defined eye at this point as it will continue to lift its way closer towards Cuba over the course of the next, say, 6 hours or less. So we're talking into early tomorrow morning by 2 a.m. We're talking 140-mile-per-hour sustained winds as it will make landfall across at least the eastern side of Cuba before it eventually then climbs its way closer towards the Bahamas by the middle of the day Wednesday, and then it gains that forward momentum, that forward speed as it will continue to weaken over the Atlantic and away from the East Coast. So we are not looking at any impacts here locally associated with Melissa. But satellite and radar back here locally at this point, seeing the cloud cover, seeing a few of those rain showers around, and seeing a few of those bubbling up now coming in out of the east. A few of those across Prince George's County, even farther off towards the north and west, seeing a few of those lighter sprinkles here and there at this point. More rain is on the way, though, as we look ahead towards later in the day tomorrow and into your Thursday. I'll have more details on that coming up.
Jackie, thank you. Now to a sewage backup that forced Anacostia High School to close. Take a look at these images. Eek. Now school leaders in the district are out with a plan for students to return to learning tomorrow. They say that Anacostia students will temporarily have class over at Kramer Middle School. An ANC commissioner sharing this video of the inside of the school from yesterday, saying there were several inches of sewage spilling right into the elevator shaft and basement. The district saying that the cleanup continues with crews scrubbing and sanitizing, and students will be able to return to Anacostia's campus when air quality testing is done. We start week 4 of the government shutdown tomorrow. There is, of course, mounting pressure for lawmakers to reopen the government as the Senate fails to pass the same GOP-backed bill now for the 13th time.
A federal judge has also indefinitely barred the Trump administration from firing thousands of federal workers during the shutdown. The judge temporarily stopped the firings earlier this month. She says the cuts appear to be politically motivated and carried out without much thought. That injunction was set to expire tomorrow. The judge has extended her order while the union lawsuits play out. The Trump administration has slashed jobs in 8 different agencies, including the Departments of Education, Health, and Treasury, all of which have priorities the president considers favored by Democrats.
The White House also says that it will not be tapping into roughly $5 billion in contingency funds to keep food benefits in place for millions of families.
And the suspension of those SNAP benefits at the center of a lawsuit filed by the attorneys general for D.C. and Maryland and 24 other states. They're suing the Department of Agriculture to restore funding for food stamps. Brian Schwab says the agency has billions in contingency dollars it has used during previous shutdowns to make sure 42 million Americans do not go hungry. There are 141,000 people in the district alone who rely on SNAP. And Schwab says withholding the funding will also hurt 400 local businesses where families shop. Virginia, by the way, did not join that lawsuit.
Air traffic controllers are missing their first full paycheck. The union and workers gathering outside of DCA, along with 19 other airports, urging an end to this shutdown. Now, they've been handing out flyers explaining the impacts. The FAA has been extremely short on controllers even before the shutdown, and now add an increase in stressed out staff calling out sick. And they do warn there will be flight delays as well as the risk for air safety. The transportation secretary saying sick calls to take side jobs or handle childcare issues have triggered 22 temporary ground stops or slowdowns at several major airports, including DCA, LAX, and Newark over the weekend. We will continue to bring you the very latest developments from Capitol Hill, both on air and online, including resources available for families. You can find those details on our website, dcnewsnow.com. Just search government shutdown. Virginia lawmakers are debating redistricting. Currently, the Commonwealth's Constitution requires a bipartisan commission to redraw the congressional map every 10 years.
But the Democratic majority says it's in response to Texas and other Republican states redistricting early. Virginia is looking to reconfigure the line for the 2026 midterms. Now, to do that, they'll have to pass an amendment before the House of Delegates elections, then do it again during next year's General Assembly session. There's also conversations happening in Maryland about early redistricting. A state senator introducing legislation to redraw the congressional map. It would require Maryland to redistrict prior to the 2026 midterms.
Some brave souls here happening just moments ago. You're seeing it right there, the annual high heel race there in the DuPont neighborhood. It is arguably the most colorful run in the district, and that's where we find our very own DC News Now's Ben Dennis joining us live from 17th Street.
Yeah, quite a party. And Ben, you've been hanging out with this crowd all night long, and certainly, without a doubt, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of preparation, a lot of costumes. They came, they saw, they queen-curd and conquered the race. It kicked off right at 9 o'clock, the top of the hour, after Mayor Bowser did the countdown herself. She is a staunch supporter of this event, nearly 40 years running, pun absolutely intended. There's a lot of excitement of people are starting to leave 17th Street. It is a quick race, but it's one that is part of DC's culture. Take a look at some of the images earlier. They lined up and ran 3 full blocks sprinting, and yes, I've done this. It's hurting. It is not painless. It is a tough go. However, there are winners and there are no losers in this type of race. Here's the background of the high heel race. It began in 1986. Started by drag performers in DuPont Circle. They wanted to bring joy and visibility and just have fun at the time in their own queer community. At the time, it was also the height of the AIDS epidemic. Now, competitors are often spending weeks crafting elaborate costumes, some even dress as political figures, pop icons, and movie characters. This is not just a race, though. This is a statement of resilience of DC's queer community. And folks who got ready to run and just walked down the runway of 17th talked about their plans and purpose for the celebration. Take a listen.
We definitely don't race to win. We're just here to walk up and down the street.
I believe it still allows us to have a safe space during a time of such uncertainties. This allows us to come together as a community, as queer people, as non-binary people, as gay people, as straight people, as everybody. We're all here together, and as long as they keep doing this and representing, we'll be safe.
This is going to be a big night for businesses along 17th Street. It's Pride that typically has a boom in business, people coming out to the bars here. We had World Pride earlier this summer, but yeah, this is going to be a big, lively night, even though it's a Tuesday here in the district. And the good news here, it seemed to be a safe event. Police are always on hand to help out as well, so kudos to MPD and all the other partner agencies for making this go off without a hitch or heel. In DuPont Circle, Ben Dennis, back to you.
Ben, thanks. The party just getting started there.
I don't know what I like more, the costumes or the bravery in all of those ankles.
Job well done. All right, looking ahead, the Pentagon City ice rink reopens on Friday. This is from last year. There is a free Halloween-themed skating event Saturday that begins at 5 in the evening. And during the holiday season, you can also rent skates for $6. Skating sessions also available. The rink at National Landing will be open most days through mid-March until 11 at night. So winter cannot be far off.
Would you ice skate first or run in heels first, Chris?
Ice skate first. Yeah, those are broken ankles. You know, broken ankles.
Both ways. Risky, all right.
Yeah, very much so.